The coordinates came from a dying Jedi's final vision. Vader didn't question it. He took his personal shuttle alone, leaving no trace, no record. The Emperor had secrets. Now so would he. Exegol emerged from the void like a wound in space, storms crackling across a black sky, lightning illuminating jagged spires. The planet felt alive with the dark side. It hummed in his bones. Even through the suit's filters, Vader could taste the power here. He descended into the temple carved beneath the surface. The air was thick, ancient. Statues of forgotten Sith lords lined the halls, their faces twisted in agony or triumph. It was hard to tell. At the heart of the chamber, he found it, a holocron pulsing with red light, flanked by scrolls written in Old Sith. Vader activated the device. A spectral figure materialized, Darth Noctis, an ancient Sith sorceress. Her voice was a whisper and a scream at once. Power is not in the flesh, but the flesh can be remade. The holocron revealed rituals lost to time, techniques that could regenerate tissue, repair organs, restore what fire had stolen. The Sith of old had feared death, so much they learned to rebuild themselves. Vader's breathing quickened. Not from excitement. From possibility. For 20 years, he had lived in agony. Every breath a reminder of his failure. Every step weighed down by mechanics and shame. Palpatine had kept him just strong enough to serve, but weak enough to control. Not anymore. Vader downloaded the holocron's contents into his gauntlet. The knowledge was incomplete, fragmented. But it was enough. He would need time, resources, secrecy. As he turned to leave, a tremor ran through the Force, distant but unmistakable. Palpatine was watching. Palpatine sat in his chamber on Coruscant, fingers steepled, yellow eyes half closed. He didn't need to see Vader to feel him. The bond between master and apprentice was a chain forged in pain and fear. And right now that chain was shifting. Exegol, the Emperor murmured. A smile crept across his withered face. So, my old friend, you've been curious. He had always known Vader might stumble upon the hidden world eventually. It was why Palpatine had buried its location so deeply in Sith lore, accessible only to those strong enough in the dark side to deserve it. But deserving knowledge and being allowed to use it were two very different things. Vader's suffering was not an accident. It was design. The suit kept him in constant pain, feeding his rage, anchoring him to the dark side. Without it, Vader might begin to think, to question, to remember Padme. Palpatine couldn't risk that. He reached out through the Force, not to confront Vader directly. That would reveal too much, but to observe. He felt the holocron's echo in Vader's presence. Felt the flicker of hope buried beneath layers of hate. Hope was dangerous. Lord Vader, Palpatine said aloud, activating the holoprojector. Vader's image materialized, kneeling. Return to Coruscant. Immediately. I have a delicate mission for you. Yes, my master. The transmission ended. Palpatine's smile widened. He would send Vader to hunt a supposed Jedi survivor on Jun. A trap within a trap. If Vader obeyed without hesitation, his loyalty remained intact. If he hesitated, if he tried to delay, to buy time for his secret work, then the Emperor would know. And he would end this before it began. Vader's shuttle lifted off from Exegol, but the dark side already whispered warnings he chose not to hear. The ritual chamber was cold. Steam hissed from vents in the walls. Vader lay suspended in a back-to-cradle, stripped of the suit for the first time in 2 decades. His ruined body was exposed, melted skin, twisted muscle, lungs that barely functioned. He whispered the incantation from the holocron. The words were old. Older than the Jedi. Older than the Republic. They tasted like ash and iron. The dark side responded. Pain exploded through him. Not the dull ache he'd lived with, but white-hot agony, as if Mustafar was burning him all over again. His flesh began to shift. Scar tissue cracked and fell away. New skin emerged, raw and red. His lungs expanded, drawing air without the ventilator's rasp. He screamed, not in despair, in triumph. Hours passed, maybe days. Time lost meaning. The Force poured into him, feeding the regeneration, accelerating what should have taken years. But it wasn't the light side. It was pure, unfiltered darkness. It filled the gaps where his humanity used to be. It drowned the last whispers of Anakin Skywalker beneath waves of hate. When the ritual ended, Vader rose from the cradle. He stood without the suit. His breathing was silent. His body, still scarred but functional, no longer betrayed him. He clenched his fist, felt the raw power coursing through muscle and bone. He was whole. But the cost? Vader looked at his reflection in the polished steel wall. His eyes, once blue, now burned yellow. The dark side had claimed him completely. There was no Anakin left to save. And he didn't care. A transmission beeped. Palpatine's voice crackled through. "Lord Vader, I trust you are prepared for your mission?" Vader smiled, a cold, terrible thing. "Yes, my master. I am ready." Vader walked through the Imperial Palace without his helmet. Stormtroopers froze. Officers stammered. No one had seen his face in 20 years. Some didn't even recognize him. He didn't care. The throne room doors opened. Palpatine sat waiting, hands folded, eyes gleaming. "Ah, Lord Vader, you look different." "I am free," Vader said. His voice was his own now, deep, clear, no mechanical distortion. "No longer your crippled apprentice." Palpatine's smile didn't falter. "Freedom is an illusion, my friend. You are mine. You have always been mine." "No." Vader's lightsaber ignited, crimson blade humming in the silence. Palpatine sighed. "So predictable." He rose, robes billowing. Lightning crackled from his fingertips. But this time, Vader didn't stumble. Didn't fall. His regenerated body moved like it once had on Mustafar. Fast, fluid, unstoppable. He deflected the lightning with his blade, absorbing the rest into his flesh. The dark side had made him resilient. Palpatine's eyes widened. Just a flicker. Just enough. Vader lunged. Their blades met in a shower of sparks. The throne room shook. Walls cracked. The dark side screamed around them, feeding both combatants, amplifying their rage. Palpatine was still faster, still more experienced. But Vader was stronger now. And he fought without hesitation, without the suit's limits holding him back. "You think you can defeat me?" Palpatine hissed, unleashing a wave of force energy. Vader absorbed it, pushed back. "I know I can." For the first time in decades, fear flickered across the Emperor's face. But then, Palpatine smiled. "Foolish boy. Did you think I didn't plan for this?" The floor beneath Vader's feet erupted. Hidden weapons activated. Droidekas rolled from the shadows, shields humming. Vader had walked into a trap. Luke felt it the moment he landed. The Force was screaming. He raced through the ruined palace. Bodies of royal guards lay scattered. Droids sparking. The air reeked of ozone and burnt flesh. At the center of the throne room stood a man Luke almost didn't recognize. No mask. No suit. Just a tall figure in dark robes, blonde hair streaked with silver, yellow eyes burning like twin suns. "Father?" The man turned. "Luke." His voice was calm. "Familiar. Wrong. I was wondering when you'd arrive." Luke's hand hovered near his lightsaber. "What did you do?" "I freed myself." Vader, Anakin, gestured to the shattered throne, the scorched floor. "Palpatine is gone. The Empire is mine. And now." He stepped closer. "Now we can bring order to the galaxy. Together." Luke's heart sank. This wasn't the father he'd hoped to save. There was no conflict in him. No light struggling against the dark. Just darkness. Pure and absolute. "I can't," Luke said. "I won't." Anakin's expression didn't change. "You will. In time." "No." Luke ignited his saber, green blade casting shadows across his father's face. "I came. Here to save you. Not join you." Anakin sighed. "Then you came for nothing." He raised his hand. The Force seized Luke, lifting him off the ground. Not violently. Almost gently. Like a parent lifting a child. "You don't understand yet," Anakin said. "The dark side isn't weakness, Luke. It's freedom. Power. I can teach you. Show you what the Jedi never could." Luke struggled, but his father's grip was iron. "I'll give you time to think," Anakin said. "But you will join me. One way or another." The world went black. The broadcast went out across every system. A man in black stood before the Senate chamber. No helmet. No mask. Just a face scarred by fire, eyes glowing with the dark side. "Palpatine is dead," Vader announced. "The Empire endures. Under my rule." Silence. Then applause. Not everywhere, but enough. Moffs who had whispered rebellion now bowed. Admirals who had schemed in shadows now obeyed. Fear was a powerful motivator, and Vader inspired terror. Within weeks, resistance crumbled. Warlords who thought they could seize power found themselves crushed, not by armies, but by Vader himself. He moved through the galaxy like a storm, unstoppable and inevitable. The rebellion didn't know how to respond. Mon Mothma called emergency councils. Leia argued for immediate action. Others urged caution. "Is he better than the Emperor?" one general asked. "Does it matter?" Leia shot back. "He's still a Sith." But some systems welcomed him. Vader didn't rule through cruelty for cruelty's sake. He was efficient, brutal when necessary, but also fair in his own twisted way. Planets that surrendered were left alone. Those that resisted were examples. And without the suit, Vader was everywhere. No longer slowed by mechanics or pain, he led Fleet TS personally. Dual Jedi survivors with ease. His power in the Force grew daily, as if the dark side itself was rewarding his transformation. Leia watched the hologram of her father addressing the Senate. She barely recognized him. "We have to rescue Luke," she said. "From him?" Han gestured at the screen. "That's suicide, Princess." "I don't care." But even as she said it, Leia knew the truth. The man who had once been Anakin Skywalker was gone, and the monster who remained was just getting started. On Korriban, Vader stood among the tombs of the ancient Sith. He had come seeking knowledge. What he found was worship. The spirits of long-dead Dark Lords whispered from the shadows. Not in challenge, in reverence. "The Chosen One," they hissed. Perfected in darkness. Vader walked deeper. His presence bent the Force around him, warping reality itself. He reached the tomb of Darth Bane, founder of the Rule of Two. Bane's specter materialized, hollow eyes burning. "You have surpassed us all," Bane said. "The Rule of Two was meant to concentrate power. You have shattered it. You are the apex." Vader didn't respond. He didn't need validation. He extended his hand. The dark side responded, not as a tool, but as an extension of his will. Lightning crackled, but not like Palpatine's. This was black, streaked with red, tearing through the air like the Force itself was screaming. He tested further, reached out across the galaxy, felt millions of lives flickering in the Force. With a thought, he could snuff them out, or bend them, make them his. Essence transfer, life manipulation, Force storms. These weren't just techniques anymore. They were instinct. Back on Coruscant, Vader stood in his meditation chamber. Luke was still imprisoned below, still resisting. But Vader could feel the boy's resolve weakening. The Force had always whispered of destiny, of a chosen one who would bring balance. Vader stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring into the void. Behind him, systems burned. Fleets knelt. The rebellion was scattered, leaderless. Luke remained imprisoned, his resistance fading daily. Balance. The word tasted bitter, or perhaps ironic. The Jedi believed balance meant destroying the Sith, Vader murmured. The Sith believed it meant destroying the Jedi. He clenched his fist. They were both wrong. Balance wasn't destruction. It was dominance. And Vader had achieved it. No Jedi Masters remained to challenge him. No Sith Lords schemed in the shadows. There was only him. The culmination of both orders. Light and dark forged into something new. He felt the Force more clearly than ever. Felt every life in the galaxy. Trillions of threads woven into a tapestry he controlled. The prophecy hadn't been wrong. Just misunderstood. Vader turned. Behind him, Luke stood in stasis, suspended in a Force cocoon, unconscious but alive. Vader had decided not to turn him. Not yet. The boy would come around. Eventually. And when he did, they would reshape the galaxy together. But even if Luke refused, it didn't matter. Vader no longer needed him. The Emperor was dead. The Jedi were gone. The Sith, as they had been, were extinct. And Vader, Anakin Skywalker, the Chosen One, stood alone at the center of it all. He reached out one final time, feeling the Force flow through his regenerated body, his perfected form. No pain. No weakness. Just power. "I have brought balance," he whispered. And the Force, for once, didn't argue. The galaxy belonged to Darth Vader. And it always would. He reached out through the Force, brushing against Luke's mind. Not forcing. Just nudging. "Feel the power, Luke. It's your birthright." Luke recoiled. But Vader felt the temptation there. The curiosity. Good. In time, Luke would understand. And when he did, they would rule together. Not as master and apprentice. As equals. But first, Vader had one final test. He reached out toward the unknown regions, toward something ancient, something waiting.